of the regulation at all?
Okay, this is a very good question, right? We keep comparing Bitcoin with US dollar. Let me say this. Behind Bitcoin, there's no Bitcoin central bank. There's no Bitcoin Inc. CEO overpaid, and when it's crashed and ask taxpayers' money to bail it out. Bitcoin behind it, there's no centralized institution behind Bitcoin, borrow 200 billion, debt.
You're right. So just in short, is more trust or less trust?
I think
in the lack of the central bank.
I must protest here. You're saying that people don't trust central banks anymore. Let me get you an example of how at least they trust the central bank and the money in Sweden. The number of transactions in Bitcoin is 1/30th of the number of transactions done by cards, which is a proxy for central bank money through the banking system in Sweden. So it can be an asset. I think we can agree on that. I also think we can agree on that the technology is promising, but it is not a very well spread payment method. So a lot of people, most people and most transactions in the world are still done with conventional currencies issued by something.
What about regulation?
And I understand that there are people who have different views,
right.
But we still have a very competitive product.
Can I comment on regulation?
Yeah, please. Sorry, regulation, please.
Yeah,
first.
so I actually do think it needs to be regulated, because I think anything
regulated.
It needs to be regulated, just like anything that I would want to become mainstream needs to be regulated. It needs to exist in society, and can't be there can't be this huge overhang over it that promises to change everything because a regulator decides this is no longer cool. So even, and by the way, this is the same story of any fintech innovation, and the best ones have always done things that were a little bit beyond the boundaries of the current regulatory framework, but they've done it in a responsible way, and they've actually gone and asked the regulator to take a look at what they're doing. The UK, for instance, was, I think, admirable in creating this sandbox to allow them to play and do limited damage if things don't work, assuming that they were trying to do something of value. So it's just so I say, so basically, I think that there will be object lessons, and I do think this is kind of one of the things I worry about, and I'm actually referring to one of the talks I saw you give, Professor, about narratives. I do believe a government will probably come down very hard on a cryptocurrency and make it a lesson. And what I would love to see is for there to be a role model where somebody actually takes an application and works with a government and does something that corresponds to a certain regulatory framework. But this can only be done at one country at a time. Nobody can regulate all of Bitcoin. You can regulate the use of Bitcoin in your country or in your group of countries, but...
Now, which country in your mind?
I think the most forward-thinking countries should probably do this. So countries,
England?
Perhaps
No?
the U.S., perhaps Sweden.
Yeah, possible. Then back to the regulation. You are very right that we need to regulate the thing that becomes a mainstream investment target. But at the same time, the question is the sandbox will not solve the problem. Who is going to regulate the Bitcoin ICOs? And how to regulate the ICOs and Bitcoins?
Well, there are already regulations in place here. That's important to remember.
Some of them.
So if you see it as an asset, which most countries do, there is investor protection legislation, consumer protection legislation.
You mean the ICO?
There has been some authorities clamping down on platforms.
Yes, that's about ICO.
And if you use it for illegal transactions, if you're involved in drug dealing, anti-money laundering, financing terrorists, you will be hunted by the authorities, independent of if you pay in dollars or in bitcoins or in cupcakes or whatever you use.
So the problem is that you cannot regulate Bitcoin today in terms of the money laundering.
No, but it's the activity that is going to be independent on which currency we use.
I think the regulation is really in the past few months even it's quite more and more clear. So.
I have to buy a headset for my microphone because I have a laptop and the computer is like that's a bomb. It's a gaming laptop, so the fans are really powerful, but I will have to buy a headset so you guys don't I don't bother you with the fan. You guys hear me pretty good right now if I speak? Let's move this. So I was just looking at this. Is the cryptocurrency asset bubble World Economic Forum. It's live right now, so they're talking about regulation. That's pretty interesting. If you guys don't want to follow me, well, you guys can go on the channel. I'm gonna post it after. Anyways, okay, let me remove my headphone. I don't need it. We put YouTube on. I don't know, man. Yeah, probably they did. I don't even know where it is, but I swear my computer is so thick. It's like the fans are huge. Anyway, let's wait for a few other people to join. Let me remove this thing here. Delete. Yes. Okay. All right. So let's do this. Okay. Trading view. All right, so well, I just wanted to do a little bit of analysis on BTC by itself, nothing crazy. I just wanted to, you know, go through everything to see where can we end up and what I see. And you know, I never really go through intensely. I never went intensely on BTC. You know, I try to chart very quickly what it's doing. You know, sometimes I do pretty pretty long charts, but I really want to focus more on BTC and see new things from a clear chart. I have a few things in mind and I wanted to you guys to look at it too, so you guys kind of learn some ways to do trading analysis. I just want to remind everyone that I'm not a professional, so the advice I'm giving here is just my opinion, and you know, you should follow it if you want, or just do what you want. And I always suggest to do your own study. So I'm just gonna go with the flow and trying to see a few things here. And I was talking with a friend before, because I noticed something interesting in this little pattern here, and I would like to go through with you guys to see if I can see more. Anyways, from the overall chart, of course, we can totally see that BTC is crashing right now, and the main thing that came into my mind today, it was the channel that I drew, the channel that I didn't consider before, just because the trend was really bouncing off other support and resistance lines, and the channel looked like too wide for me. That's why I didn't chart it, but I always drew this top resistance here connecting those two spikes, and you know, pretty much when we see two main points in the chart, those will be our main resistance. But of course, another resistance here, another channel was getting created by those 2 points. That's why I started to analyze the falling wedge. The falling wedge that, as you guys know, has been broken down right here, and right there. So of course, falling wedge usually it's a bullish pattern. That's why I tried to follow this, and we were seeing bouncing off this channel, so it was working very well until we arrived here, and of course didn't bounce off that level. And for sure at this main resistance here, which was a really important one, because if we see the 1-day chart, we can see that as a main spike. So this was the big crash that happened, and then there was a nice bull run until the top here. Of course, if we go in the 4-hour chart, we can see other little crashes, not really little sometimes, but we still see other that, of course, they're not considered when I see the 1-day chart, because I almost don't see any there, right? So here it comes when you should chart, on what you should chart, and if you have to use the 1-day chart, if you have to use the 4-hour chart, well, it all depends how much you want to see. And it's always nice to see from far away and then go in and see more in details. You always see more and more. So what I wanted to show you is the new channel, which, you know, the new bull flag that I found today, which was just a channel that comes from those two big resistance. So what I did, I just used the channel tool that I like to use a lot, because it can connect automatically two support lines with the two resistance that I trace. So if I want to trace this top one with this one, right, and then I go down to one of the support lines, let's say this one, because it's the biggest one right there, and then I want to see if I can connect more, because, you know, sometimes just one, it doesn't tell us anything. So if I spread this, you guys can totally see, and I want to make this perfect, how perfect those two resistance touch in the channel with this one. Okay, so for me this is a really good channel to look at. And what I did after, I was considering the retracement from zero, so from the beginning of the time, to see, you know, overall what the retracement of BTC was. And if I trace from zero, price zero, let's say, you know, 38, it doesn't really change that much, to the top of the week, you know, of course, as we can see, it bounced off lots of times at my levels, and I can see here 38, it bounced off a few times, and then it bounced off at 50%, and then it fell 50%, it arrived 61, and that was my main thing, because, you know, we all know that 50% retracement or 61 are usually considered healthy, right? But, you know, we can trace as many kind of Fibonacci that we want. Remember, this is a tool, it's nothing different than a tool, so everyone can use it as you want, and I can trace Fibonacci everywhere. I can trace this to see how much this full bull run retracts. I can, if I want, retrace just this little spike to see how much it retraced. Well, it retraced 100% almost of this little spike, right? So we can use the tool really well, and I was wondering, like, maybe I'm looking in some Fibonacci that it's too big, it's too zoom out, so I must find something better to chart this just part of BTC. Of course, I try to look for a nice support, but as you can see here, the BTC is a parabolic curve, and I cannot really see a bottom. I don't know where this main spike start from, so, you know, I just trace this main retracement here, this main bull run, and I trace from the previous crash that I see a one-day chart. Of course, if I go on 4-hour chart, I will see other little crashes here. Actually, not little, because this one is pretty big too. But we can see the waves, right? We can totally see the waves, one pump, pump, and pump. So I'm gonna trade this wave here from here to the top, and I got this thing. So the channel at this level really crosses with my 100% retracement of this spike, and to be honest, it's a really good point for me where BTC can bounce off in the channel, right? If we are seeing the bull flag. So remember, trading analysis, it's you know, I always tell to all the people that get my one-on-one lesson, I see this as a heart, right? So you need to see things, and if you see things that most of traders see at the same time, or maybe the chart gets public and lots of people see a certain point, well, that's a point that can really be important and where all the people will focus on buying back. And these points can really be interesting, because we have this main support here where the main crash was, and this will bring the price to Bitcoin to November. Okay. Of course, I don't really want to consider this one because we will be lower. So by just considering the last spike from this main crash on the one-day chart, remember, again, I'm gonna show you, if I do 4-hour chart, I will see different things, and I will make chart from here, but this will be already down. So I'm trying to look for a point to bounce here. So let's go back to one-day chart, and if you notice, today I had a little discussion about moving averages, and of course, every time I have a discussion, I want to know if I'm right or not, and I go look into things, because I like to research stuff, and plus, as I said before, I'm not a professional, so I'm learning day by day. So moving averages, there are lots of moving averages to use, and they're very interesting because they are used by traders to buy back. Sometimes traders don't let the trend surpass the moving average, but they buy on a bounce. So as soon as the moving average touches the trend, touches the moving averages. But when the trend surpass and cross the moving average, we usually see a change in trend. And there are lots of moving averages. I don't really want to go through every single one because my English, I cannot be super technical about them. But we in the chart we were talking about moving average exponential, and I was using the moving average. So there was a user who was saying, why you're using a moving average exponential on the log chart when I was using a simple moving average, and I was using moving average 200, and we can make it blue. So by looking moving average 200, if I take the normal chart and if I take my log chart, the moving average is still there. As you can see, log chart changes. Look how far my support lines are now in the channel that I drew before, right? It's a different kind of chart, and some Wall Street investment traders use it, but there are other things to look for. I mean, we can use, I really like to use the normal chart, and which is what all the traders use, you know, on these cryptocurrency world. Let's say log scale are more used for stock market and so on, but you know, they can really mess up everything. But the moving average is still the same. If I use this chart or if I use the log scale, it's still at that level, so it doesn't really change. So that's why I was telling whoever it was in the chart that, you know, even though I use log scale or even though I use my normal scale, this is the same thing. And plus I was using moving average, not moving average exponential. But moving average are different because different moving average, of course, take in consideration different info of the trend, different prices. Of course, moving average 200 consider the last 200 period, so 200 candles, and that's the average that has been broken down. So usually it bounces off. Let's say some see where it bounces off here. Like it bounces off here, almost here. Because this is too far, but let's try to put 50 and let's see what it does with 50. No, it doesn't bounce very good. I don't remember which one I used. It was bouncing really good. 1 day chart. Let me see 4-hour chart. Because remember, moving average changes if you change the chart too, so they're really hard to use. But I really like to use the 1 day chart, since if you are looking at a long term, so 200 days, I use this, but I can put the moving average exponential which is a little bit different. And some traders use one, some traders use the other one. So of course you get different outcome for different moving averages, right? And let me take this 200. I'm gonna put all 200 because we're looking at the long prediction, and I'm gonna make it red. As you can see here is even, because broken even worse right here. And I was watching some videos and I noticed these other advice on trader to use the smoothed moving average. So of course it doesn't include all the spikes in the trend, but it makes things more smooth. And you can see if I select it and I made 200, make it green right there. We're still didn't cross it, so our SMA 200 days still needs to be reached, and it bounces off right on, it crosses right on my channel right there, where I could probably have the bounce of BTC. Of course it will be better at this level right there. So when these things will come here, I will have right here 3 main points. So I will have my 100% retracement Fibonacci, I will have the channel, the bull flag, I will have of course the nice support here at what level it is, 5,500 and probably, if we're lucky, the trend can bounce off this SMA indicator. And you know, I was reading that lots of traders use it. So as we know, charts are good if lots of people are seeing the same things, and you know, if whales or whoever manipulates this market decides to buy as soon as we hit this indicator, well, we would be right on. 1 second, I was reading a few people in the chat. Yeah, sorry guys for my microphone. I gotta buy the headset. I didn't know my computer was so loud. Anyways, I bet you guys can hear me if I'm not wrong. But anyways, the other things that I was noticed that it's really interesting, and I posted today in the channel, is RSI indicator. RSI indicator, that looks pretty good to me at this level, and before I wasn't even calculating it because it was so high and we were already crashing. That I was just looking at MACD, to be honest. And what we can see here, well, if we look in the past, we see the previous crashes right there. You know, I post this in the channel, but when RSI it's oversold, usually we go back up. And of course, even here, I mean, this is not oversold, but right here is pretty low, and right here. So every time we see a nice, and here he made something, he tried, and then he failed, and he went back down again. But you know, how down can this go? I hope not more than this, but we are already at, let me see, right there. So we are at 22, 23, and this one is 18. So we still have 5 points to drop, and because this can drop more, and we're still good, because our prediction by looking at this chart would be end up right here probably. So you know, we have lots of things that we can consider for Bitcoins to go back up. Again, this is a prediction, and BTC is over manipulated. For sure, there can be a bounce here by looking at the trading analysis, considering all those facts. But nothing can, you know, tell us that the things can go all the way down to, I don't know, all those other resistance, right? This is a support, the big support. This is a big resistance that can act like a support. So you know, I really find this super interesting. And another thing, I was talking with my friend Ruben before, was this pattern that I noticed, and I didn't go through it. I want to analyze this pattern with you guys to see if I can find something live. You know, something that I find at this level, from this crash to this crash. So let's consider what the main crashes are. Just let's pick up, let's say 1, 2, and 3, and this was the 4, right? Let's see first what date range they have. So from here to there. I'm just tracing to see, not the days, just to identify them. Right there. And from here to there. and that's the other one. Okay, I'm gonna remove this Fibonacci retracement, and why not, let's remove this for now. I'm still on log scale, sorry, let me remove that. Okay, right there. Okay, so what did I notice? I noticed this main spike that I use to trace my Fibonacci retracement. Actually, you know what? I need the Fibonacci retracement, so I'm gonna leave it there. This pattern is the same pattern that probably this little bull run is doing. Let me change color. Let's make this blue and this is green, and then here, let's make this red. Okay, so this pattern right there can be this one. I'm gonna show you. So this spike and correction of 100% can be this little one if we really want to be peaky. And as we see here, this big spike right here, where is it here, as those three behind it. And you know, we can of course trace some Elliott waves if you really want to. I'm trying to make it simple, but if we consider this, we can try to see some kind of pattern repeating itself. If this is the blue, this is the black, we can trace the same thing right here. This is the black, and we see probably 1, 2, and 3, and this being the this being this one. Okay, right there. Now I'm trying to see. I didn't notice before. I noticed before. Now I'm trying to see if this might work or not. But oh my God, I want to change that black. Okay. This has to be blue. Okay, so that's the little one. Okay, so it's kind of repeating itself, and here is doing almost the same, not as precise though as this pattern, because if we zoom out in this little thing, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do 4 hour. Okay, to see even more, remember we have 1, 2, and 3, and we have even 4. So this would be our 4 pattern, right there, and we're gonna make it yellow. I don't want to see too much right there. Okay, so we have 1. I'll hit text 1, 2, 3. Hey, you guys wanted a true analysis? That's what it is. So be patient. And 4. Okay. And we have the overall one, which is the one that I already traced. Let me see. Let me remove moving averages here in the meantime. And we have the full one. okay, which is this one. So every 1, 2, 3, and 4 can look like, if we really go through, like the main spike, and here is happening the same. Here is happening the same. We have our thing here, which is the black part, and then we have 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I'm gonna make it red, just everything red I want. Of course, I've seen this even better here at this level, right? I have kind of 1, 2, 1, 2, and 3. So this is the 1, and then I have a 1, 2, and 3. Of course, here it fails a little bit, but what I want to show you is that from here to here, we always have 100% retracement. So from, if I remove the full one, you guys can see the full one, right? I already retraced this from 0 to here. It's already 100%, and let's make it really clear. Okay, make it a line like that. Okay, we have that. Then, if you know, you guys see this one, I can trace from here to here, default, from 0 to 100 there. Okay, those ones, but this is the last one that, you know, it can be considered the whole, right? So the main spike is really this one, and even though we noticed something, actually we could consider this little one, you know, from 0 up to 0 arrives here, and then it goes up, and then it goes up, right there. Then these things, that's the same. It has 1, 2, 3, and then there is this Fibonacci retracement from 0 to 0. Okay, here it does the same. I'm making too confusing, but I'm trying to be as clear as I can. So this from 0 to 0 here, right there. Boom. Then we have from 0 to 0 right there, and then we probably have this one that it doesn't work really good, but we have 3 patterns that correspond. So which is 1, 2, and the big one, 3. Okay, so what happened after every spike up and back to the same price? Well, we had the bull run, and it happened here, the bull run, and it went all the way up. Okay, and it happened here, even though it stopped, it didn't go all-time high. And on these little spikes, I mean, we can go look closer to see some common things. Let's see if we can find something. We might have like some kind of 3 waves here, even though it's not precise, and then we have our 0, but it failed. Or our 0 could be this one, and we have our 3 waves, kind of. So if we go see before, we might notice something too, and I can use some indicators to have an idea of the curve that I have. We can see something, not really. 1, 2, and 3, and I can have a big one, not that precise, or I can have remember I'm doing a live study, so I never seen this before, so that's why I'm all over the place. You can see this, or 1, 2, and 3. 2. So you know there is something there, to be honest, and I don't want to go look more, but let's go check. Zoom out a little bit. So where I want to go with this? Well, I want to go on our main chart. So if those things are repeating itself, so there are kind of 3 waves, and then the price start from a point, it spike up, and then it stop at the same level, and here it happened right there from here to here, kind of. Then it happened again from here to here. Then it happened again after 3 spike, 1, 2, 3, from here to here. Then it happened again from here to here. And if it's happening over and over again, why should not happening from our main chart that now you don't see? Let me remove a few things. Let me remove a few stuff, otherwise you're gonna go crazy. Why it cannot happen? On our main chart, which has, as I said, 3 curves, which is 1, which are the previous crashes. And look at the RSI indicators, right? You can totally see the crashes there. Remove this. Okay, so we can have 1, 2, 3, and then our kind of inverse cup from here to here. And then what happens after every inverse cup? Well, there is a bull run. So every time the price after the crash goes up, goes up, goes up. Here it just didn't go that much up. It just went up for a bull run and then it failed. But you know, let's not be just on the trading analysis, right? Because you know this is of course 100%, but there's lots of things that happen here: regulation, government, ban, and all the other things that you guys know. So we could see a spike here, and as you have noticed before, we have the bull flag, the RSI that it's oversold, MACD it's very low, it might start to turn up, 100% Fibonacci retracement from the last crash on 1-day chart. So you know what, I like the idea. Let me see, will last ATM price will be the next first Elliott wave? Well, again, Elliott wave, it's another tool you can use to understand what the waves are. But Elliott wave, especially in Bitcoin, because it's so parabolic, the curve, you can trace Elliott wave from every point, right? So if I want, I can trace Elliott wave starting from here. That's one. You know, I can trace from here. No, this can be an Elliott wave, and then it does some kind of ABC correction, or the same Elliott wave can start from cancel. Same Elliott wave, you can start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And then we have our ABC correction, or of course it can be seen like, you know, Elliott wave, and it's a tool everyone can use it as you want. And this can work especially you know, for our main ABC correction that it might happen still. And our main correction of course will be ABC correction, and will be the bounce of the channel that in this case will probably work perfectly. If BTC is doing an ABC correction, well, we just need to connect the bounce of the channel will be 1, 2 and 3, where we expect it to correct at this level right there. So as I said before, we have lots of indicators that can tell us this part here can be a big huge support. And again, the study that I did by looking at this kind of inverse cup can really work. Okay, right there. We do 100% Fibonacci retracement, and we're good to go. And what happened here, of course, that's really small, but happened right there. And we had a bull run after that, and we had here probably another one, and we had the bull run after that, and it's before every single crash. I mean, it's the crash, right? So I think it looks pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Any comments? You guys look you're following without talk about, so maybe you agree with me. But yeah, it's very interesting. And what I want to show you guys is the crash of 2014. Let's go see that crash, what happened there, because this is another scenario. 2014, right here, we had a huge crash too. Let's go take a look at what happened here. Actually, I need to go 4 hours to see more. Oh, now I gotta go all the way back. Terrible. I hate when it does this. Okay, let's go back. This is 15, 15, 14. Here we go. Okay, this was the crash 2014, and what do we see here? Well, this level here, I don't know what I can consider as 3 waves, but probably if we do 1 day chart, this will be one only spike, and we will see some red. So not as perfect as before, but we can see our inverse cup here too, and our kind of Elliott waves, which were 3 in this case, or like the waves that I draw by hand, right? This one, right? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, every single crash. And what happened after our price up and down to the same level? We had the bull run. We can see this in a bigger way, which would be this one, right? This is our cap from this nice support level, goes up, way down, down, and how much is that? Of course, that's 100% retracement from this level. But if we take as you guys can see, it's the same exact level. If we consider one of the lowest point of the trend here, as I draw on the, actually it's almost from zero. I can trace this from zero to match up with the main chart I did. Look at this level. If I trace a total trend Fibonacci retracement, where my trend ends up, look at this. It ends up right on after 61% Fibonacci, okay? After, so he broke it and then he came back up, okay? So we can see these things happening even right now, and I can go chart right away. So look at this. After 161% Fibonacci, let's put percentage right there. So let's go take a look at our main chart. Okay, where is it? Right here. Okay. So if I trace, I don't want to cancel this because I wanna leave it there. A Fibonacci of a full trend from 0 to the spike on 19, whatever it was. So from 0 to the top of my number 5 there. Let's see where everything ends up. You see here, it ends up here at the level after 61%, and voila. So we see lots of similarity with the 2014 crash. We see the same inverse cap that I made, and we see those three patterns before. Waves, that can be Elliott wave, it can be whatever, and you know what, I really like that level. I didn't see RSI, to be honest. Let's go check RSI. I want to see if RSI is as low as we have right now. That could be really good, but you know, can everything match? You know, it's impossible. Probably I gotta check the 4-hour chart, because here I don't see any reds because the price were really low, right? Let's go check. No, I need to go closer because you say it's too much zoom in. Let's go check closer. Of course I gotta go all the way back. 2014. Sorry guys, I gotta do this. That's not me, is the trading view. Let's go take a look at the crashes. Very high, those little curve are probably are too small, but at that crash, you know, we have a RSI which is pretty low, and the MACD very different. But yeah, it doesn't really look like our MACD for our chart. We have two like big dips here, but you know, I really like this idea, so I probably will chart it and make it nice and post it in the channel if I can, but it's a mess. I don't know how to explain this in just one chart, but there's something I can do for sure. I don't know if you guys have any question. Thank you, Beamer Road, looking good. Who's this guy here? Twitter Bitcoin Rick. Remove. Where is this? Spamming on my free videos? Come on, man. And I mean, that's all I have to say for now. Let's go check BTC, what it's doing right now on Coinbase. It's going down 666. So you know, lately I've been doing pretty good prediction, calling every single level. You know, we called 8K, we called 7, Of course, you know, of course it's going down, and you say, oh yeah, it's for sure it's gonna hit your targets. But no, I'm giving my explanation while I go every time, so I don't think I'm like you know, making prediction after that happened. And I don't know if it's making. Yeah, probably it is making some kind of bearish flag if it doesn't go more down than this. And I don't know if it might go up here if it wants. It may make some bearish flag again, or it can just keep going down directly. Of course, this 5-minute chart, you know, it's really super hard to trace, so consider that. Let's see, 50-minute chart. See, the fans is spinning so fast. That means stuff and is going crazy on all the website that I have open, all the JavaScript surrounding. There are some coins that Ange is doing something. Huh. Yeah, but I really don't suggest to trade right now. So I just maybe wanna go through what you should do. Well, of course, market it's insane. I don't suggest to enter trades. You can enter just in the case you really think this is a good bottom for you. Is you can buy coin cheap, but as we said, we can even go much lower to 5 something. Actually, let's see what number we had there. What I was charting on Bitstamp right there. So yeah, we may arrive to around 5.6, 5.5. Okay, so you might want to buy there, just, you know, to buy, because even though if it crash more, you know, if you believe in BTC is gonna keep going, you are super positioned, especially if you buy all the altcoins, and this is what I would do, because all the altcoins will spike more than BTC. So I will buy the dips with the money that you have in USDT, if you have some, for sure around that price, 5,500. All fucking coins are in discount, so you know you can buy whatever. And of course, you rather go to huge projects that you really like, and you know there are lots that I don't want to really you know, shield right now. You know, it's still, I don't, you know, like that. I'm, you know my monsters, you know, OMG, Neo, Stratus, and so on, and all the new Binance coins. So, but anyways, of course, if you stayed with my channel for a while, you knew that I push a lot to make that 50% in USD or USDT, put that 50% of your investments apart, away from the market, because market crash so much every time, and you know, you have seen from the chart, it charts so many times that you can totally buy the dips on just one coin. The 50% in USDT, you can just throw one coin after the crash, buy the dip, and make 30% or whatever, and get out. And you make lots of money, because that money will be a big chunk. And when you have big dips, they're not big correction like this, you can totally make a good profit. And for sure it's hard to keep the 50% away, but you know what, it's a really good strategy, because the 50% will never dump, will never go down, and it's a beautiful strategy in my opinion. Then if you want to go all in, that's up to you, and you will be in a mess right now, not having money to buy those discount coin, probably 60-70% down since whatever, December. And of course, if you were late in the channel, whatever, for any reason you were holding, well, you gotta hold. Arrive at this point, of course, it's not even worth selling, because yeah, sure, it can go to 3K, but we really don't know the bottom. That's the thing. You can follow whoever you want on Twitter, best challenge. Nobody knows when Bitcoin is gonna stop. Trading analysis just helps us to predict what the other traders can see with us, and maybe traders will wanna buy at C, and they're waiting to buy at this point where we did all of our study, and we end up there perfectly. So that's what trading analysis helps. But you know, I really suggest you to hold and don't sell at this point. Of course, if you sold it when you were high at this level, probably you did good. I always suggest you to sell profit, and I've been saying that from probably $17,000, because I moved my BTC to Ethereum, and that was the best move ever that I did, because you know, Ethereum was low and it started to spike like crazy, 200% in a month probably, and Bitcoin was just crashing. But while it was crashing, I told you guys to just keep selling those profits, because to make your 50% in USDT, or you know, if to wait for the stable market, because I will probably get back to trade. I will buy probably some more at this level, of course, because I waste my time doing all these charts. So I'm gonna take some risk here. The other rest I'm holding it, but I'm just gonna enter the market with more money when probably we reach a good level. I know, I mean, if this bounce off, we go to 12K and we break the channel, that would be a bull run, and probably I would sure enter the market there again with more money. But I'm gonna be aware of the bull trap, as happened here. This can happen again. If this breaks, it might arrive at some point and then really crash harder than before. But you know, we don't know that. So I will, while I trade, I will still consider keep my 50% in USDT, because that's really important for me and for the community, in order not to get wrecked. And of course, if you are all in now, you're holding, too bad, because you have to see your money coming back. You're not gonna make money just in the only way that you maybe use new cash to buy back, but that's, you know, unfortunate for a few of us. But this was what I have to say for this lesson, and I will probably leave it in the channel. We'll see, because I said a lot here. But you know, I hope you guys are safe or will be safe, and maybe learn from your mistake, because if you're a newbie, for sure that's very important. Very important to learn from your mistake. And you know, I'm the first one here that made lots of mistakes, but mistakes makes you better, practice makes you better. So you know, just consider that. Consider, if you're new, to not invest too much. I mean, you should always invest how much you're willing to lose, that's the saying. But you know, if you're new to this, even trade less, because you will make tons of mistakes until you understand the market very good. And you know, I'm still learning too, day by day. There are new things. I don't think I will never finish to learn. So, and you know, be safe, and see you in the channel. See you guys.